meeting is at We have no power here, so I'm going to be a little bit louder. The public meeting of the Henry Hudson Regional Pre-K-12 Board of Education is called to order. Adequate notice of this meeting was published in the Asbury Park Press and the Star and Ledger in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, and notices were forwarded to the board members and were posted as required. Not yelling at you folks. Roll call, Ms. Sherlock.
Ms. Burrell?
Yes.
Ms. Knox?
Yes, here.
Ms. Kozik?
Here.
Ms. Melnick?
Present.
Mr. Thomas?
Here.
Ms. Thomas? Ms. Wells? Mr. Wingert?
Here.
Mr. Colangelo?
Here.
Dr. Beams?
Here.
Mr. Bush?
Here. Any old business to discuss? Hearing none. Reports, please. Superintendent's report.
Wait for them to turn this on.
It is, but there's a trick button.
6 minutes.
Oh, I think you got it.
This way.
Hey. Thank you. Hold on, I'm still turning on.
You're getting it.
I have a big mouth, so. All right, it's getting there. I highly doubt that there are people that can't hear me well because of my big mouth here. So welcome. Believe it or not, the school is opening in less than 2 weeks. Summer has absolutely flown by. It's been a very, very busy summer of planning. Okay, here I am. Hi. It's been a very busy summer of planning. We've had a ton of facilities projects this summer that I don't know, miraculously been done in the blink of an eye. And we are preparing to welcome our staff and students back. I want to thank our supervisor of Buildings and Grounds, Mr. Anthony Neggers. He has done an amazing job of managing major facilities projects in all 3 buildings and getting them done before we start school. Also, our head custodians, Ms. Celia Martinez, Mr. Robert Troy, and Jasmine Reedy, all of our custodial crew. I don't know how they do it. We have summer programs in our buildings. We've had all of these facilities projects with workers coming in and out of the buildings at various times, and you could like eat off the floors. They're so clean. They've just done an amazing job. Just like a little side note, the other day, some of our custodians, they were literally opening every single student locker here at Henry Hudson, and they were wiping them down and cleaning outside and the inside. And they were singing and they were laughing while they were doing it. I was just like, wow, like what attention to detail. Just amazing. So I want to thank all of them for getting our buildings clean and beautiful and ready for the opening. It's really amazing. I also want to thank our office staff and all of our administrative assistants. There's a lot of behind the scenes work of closing a school year and then reopening a school year, and our ordering that comes in, the staff, the rostering of students, registration, rolling everything over, and it's all of the work that nobody can ever see, but it's what keeps us going and it's what keeps us ticking. So I want to thank all of them. It's also really difficult in the summer because that's when everybody's supposed to get some downtime, so they manage all of these very complex projects while also taking some time for themselves. So I want to thank them. And finally, the administrative team. They are constantly working and planning and pouring all of their efforts into making sure that every school year is the best school year for our students. They have unwavering dedication to making things free for our staff and for our students. This summer was particularly busy with strategic planning and creating all of our action plans, and also, again, getting some much needed downtime and rest. So I want to thank our administrative team for all of their work. I just wanted to give some updates to share with the board regarding some statewide education initiatives that will impact us moving forward. So over the last, 2 years, there was a task force that was formed in the state of New Jersey to look at Teach NJ. Teach NJ are the regulations that were passed in 2012 that dictate educator evaluation. So there was a lot of hubbub in the state about what this was going to look like, what this task force was doing. About a year ago, they released a large document of recommendations that they were going to give to the DOE. We were anticipating changes to the educator evaluation system. So I spent a day yesterday at the county office with Mr. Jens for a training. The regulations can't change until 2027. So we've gone through all of this work and all of this consternation for nothing really to change. And so we are going to assemble our DAC committee, that's the District Evaluation and Advisory Committee. We're going to look at our current tool. As the staff members know, I joke about it every year. We use something called the Rhode Island model. We are in the state of New Jersey, so it's really great for the state of Rhode Island, which is an entire state that uses this evaluation system. We also use the 2007 version of the evaluation tool. We were hoping to put the DAC together last year, but then when we heard that these regulations might change, we didn't want to do anything until we got the recommendations. Well, now that we got the guidance and nothing has really changed, we are going to assemble the DAC committee to look at a possible new evaluation tool for teachers, and also to look at any of the recommendations that were made for the task force and see if we want to implement any of them. We are fully compliant with all TCHJ regulations in terms of teacher evaluations, which has been demonstrated by CUSAC in the 3 districts, and by all of the state reporting that we have to do each and every year. So we're not worried about the compliance side. Nobody's really worried about the compliance side. It's some of these other guidance recommendations, and we'll consider that over the year. The bigger news, and the more impactful news, and probably the more frustrating news, is that on August 13th, which is just last week, the DOE gave us a broadcast that they are going to be changing state testing for this upcoming school year. So for years, when Park came in, which was the first iteration of online tests, the state signed a multi-year contract with Pearson. That contract is now up, and so they've moved on to a new testing format with Cambian assessment, which will launch an adaptive state assessment. So, and I'm going to read this. So the NJSLA adaptive and the NJGPA adaptive, which is the high school assessment, will be implemented for the upcoming school year. This is from the DOE's broadcast. These assessments will still be aligned with New Jersey student learning standards for ELA and math. But the key feature of these assessments is their adaptive format. According to the broadcast, as students progress through the test, future questions are determined based on their responses, creating a more personalized and appropriate experience for each learner, and are designed to continue to give students the opportunity to demonstrate their knowledge and skills in a meaningful way. Which would mean that the test either gets harder or it doesn't get harder. There is no more guidance on that, except for that we're going to do a field test sometime in October. The other wacky part of this is for any seniors that did not pass a section of the NJGPA this school year as 11th graders and need that for a high school requirement. If they take that during the fall block, not the spring block in March, April, they will take the NJGPA that they took last year, not the adaptive form. And the other students taking the NJGPA, like in the spring, our current 11th graders, they will take the adaptive test. So we don't know what that will look like. There has been nothing released at this point in terms of comparisons to state test before, how growth will be measured, how that impacts teacher MSGPs. There's no other guidance. They say that there's training forthcoming. It's frustrating because they announced this on August 13th. Usually when they do this, there's a full field test where they pilot this for a little while and then they'll implement it. This is being implemented this year. So state testing for grades 3 through 11 will be on this adaptive model when we take and sit for the test in the spring. So again, as soon as we get information or training on it, we'll start to bring our teachers through that, we'll start to bring our administrators through that. We'll try to figure out now what that looks like. They did give us some sample problems to look like, so we can see what the testing platform looks like on Cambium, but that doesn't tell us really what that's going to be in terms of the student experience or what that means in terms of the adaptive nature. So we'll see what that looks like. Those are two big pieces, though, that we're going to be tracking as we move through this school year that will impact us, and that I will keep giving the boards updates on. Okay, so that is mine.
Thank you. Mrs. Sherlock, please.
Thank you. Just a few updates. The brickwork project. So this project is on target to finish by September 2nd, and we had some contingency money that we didn't have to spend, so we were able to do additional repairs, which you see on tonight's agenda. But it won't cost us any more money than the original PO that we did. We also have a large phone project that we're doing, and that one is 95% complete, and the final stages will happen in September. The Highlands field work, so we did complete the testing that was to be done on the hill, and now those reports are with the architects, and they are putting together the feasibility and cost to secure the hill and install a softball field, a couple of different configurations to see which is the most cost effective. And finally, I just wanted to update everyone that the health benefits, they have given out initial advice that in January, the health benefits could go up as much as 30%. And after that was not received well, they did take that down from the website. So I don't imagine it's going to be 30, but it is going to be high. So we should receive that by the end of September, and that affects our budget for half the year. So we did not budget for 30% increase, but as I was told by our broker that they did take that advice down from the website, so we'll see if it goes back up. We have run our experience and asked them to run that to see if it is possible to compare to a different plan, and if it does come this much, to see if we could possibly in the future go with a different plan.
Thank you.
Mr. Clanfield, I have just a comment in response to that.
Please.
Thank you. I think that a lot of the folks who live in Highlands, and maybe even a lot of folks in Atlantic Highlands, and while that affects them, it doesn't impact them as directly. I think a lot of folks in Highlands aren't aware of this softball field project. And I know it was voted out by the board, and it was looked at by the facilities committee. But I think that it would be a good move if the community were involved in some way in the further process of installing that softball field.
I'm sure it's possible, Ms. Sherlock, will be a presentation during the board meeting is what the options are.
Yeah, as soon as we get the report, then that would be the next stage. There wouldn't be anything moving forward.
Of course.
Each step will come to the board first.
Great, thank you.
And presentation.
Board President's report, I actually, someone looks at buildings all day long. I want to compliment Mr. Nagers on these projects that are going on at these two buildings, both the elementary project here is not really visible to the public, but both elementary schools, as old indeed as they are, looking fantastic right now. And that's all I have to say, other than during the summer. Board committee reports, instruction programs.
I would ask if you can cover some areas on that. Second.
I sent it to you.
Thank you.
Hold on, let me pull it up. Oh, I sent it.
And actually just came with their one as well, this is in this one.
Let me pull it up. Just trying to go to the next one. I'm not sure. Okay.
Because Ms. Thomas isn't here either.
Okay.
Policy committee is quick.
Yeah.
Go for it, Ms.
Great,
Mayor.
awesome. Right, not a lot going on in policy alert 235, which came from stress last May. If anybody here at home isn't sure, the policy alerts that we get about changing policies, really, we get the aid of an outside agency so that we don't have to worry about the legality of listening ourselves. We have an outside agency who does that. They're called Stress Estimate. Just about every school district does the same. So they're a team that works on our behalf. So there's a policy alert coming out in we have it in this agenda, and then we have first reading. And there's really nothing that particularly concerns us. The superintendent has made some recommendations about things that we do have choices on, but they're really very day-to-day logistical things, and they're mandatory. So really, we really have our hands tied on that. I do want to give a heads up to the board that our next policy alert, which is policy alert 236, will have some information that you may want to dive a little more deeply into. And if anybody wants to give their input to the policy committee before we have that meeting. And the reason that I just say that is that there's a lot of things going on in the country right now, and policy 236, which again, it's not come out yet, probably won't come for months, but has to do with some changes about the material that we provide to our students when it comes to the books that they get. So, board members, keep your eyes out for policy alert 236. Policy alert 235, we do have to vote on the second reading, but there's really not a lot going on that's really up to us. And that's about it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Thomas. Since you were at the financial facilities meeting, you mind updating everybody on the meeting?
So we covered a lot of updates, the work that Mr. Neggers did with Highlands Elementary School. We talked about some of the brick work we did, some of the backup planning. We went into excessive work that needed to do. That was too expensive. Do we want to talk about the cell phone tower? So for those of you that don't know, a company reached out about installing a cell phone tower. Back there, a little further back, there's already an emergency response tower there as well. I don't know if you want to go into the finances, but the cell phone tower, there was an assessment on it, there was a presentation to everyone here with the board in September. So what the cell phone tower would allow us to do is we could lease this space, we would have to provide profits to the company who's going to install it for the first year, about 35%. And from this additional revenue that we can bring in, it's subsidized costs here for whatever administration chooses. It's how we can do this.
Yeah, so the next steps are that we put it in the board packet. We, obviously none of us are cell phone tower experts, so we have asked the company, we've said that we've expressed our interest, so they'll move forward into the next phase of kind of giving us some renderings and then doing a public presentation at the September meeting. So if anybody has any questions, obviously the revenue is something that is attractive. Having it on our property and away from kind of where we do, it's not going to be in like our sight line or anything, and there is a tower, existing tower. We also, for anybody that lives in Highlands or has traveled up that hill or has been at the school, cell phone service is non-existent sometimes, so it would help us in case of emergency to bolster cell phone service. I know it's something that the mayor and council have been looking into as well. To put a site in Highlands. Obviously this is prime realty because we're up high, but we're not making any decisions until the full board gets a presentation and not meetings.
And also the preschool classrooms, we're officially finished, we've gone through. I think that was mostly everything we really covered. I'd like to listen to two things.
I know how you take notes.
Okay, so instruction and programs. I'll read for Mr. Wingberger, who wasn't there. Mrs. Posick was there, Mr. Colangelo was there, Mrs. Wells was at our meeting that was held in person on August 4th. We reviewed the voting items that appeared on this month's agenda. Two of the items, the district PDP and the district mentoring plan, are updated annually and required for approval. In addition, I shared that the curriculum that was written over the summer is included on this month's agenda for approval. I also provided the committee with an update on the AnovaMat implementation for grades K through 2. So as we've talked about in board meetings before, we did a pilot of AnovaMat in our elementary school classrooms from K to 4. Our primary teachers loved it. They absolutely loved it. So we met with the reps at the end of the year. We put the decision to the teachers on whether or not they wanted to move forward with an implementation. So we have decided to move forward with just K to 2 of an implementation of AnovaMat, and then we would add subsequent years each year so that we we can start to prepare the teachers and the students would already be prepared in the programs. Our K1 and 2 students all were part of the pilot program, so they are familiar with the routines of Inovamat. We also will be implementing Inovamat's K-8 intervention programs so that we have continuity from kindergarten to 8th grade in terms of intervention. I also shared that the district will be providing staff professional development calendar. So we have created a professional development calendar that takes the staff right now through the month of February. So all of the professional development options for staff will be provided to them at the beginning of the year. They can see all the choice that they have throughout the year. This was discussed today with the HHREA as well. And we are also providing them with a district assessment calendar for every single grade level and every single content area, so that they can ensure that there's continuity in the assessments that are being given in the classroom across the grade levels. There's not an inaccurate, you're getting the same experience regardless of which teacher you have if you're in the same grade. And then finally, I provided a preview of the preliminary NJSLA data, which showed significant growth in some areas, but nice growth in all areas, and some outstanding growth in individual grade levels and classrooms. The full presentation of state assessment data will be presented to the public in October as mandated by NJ Administration.
Thank you.
It's public works for the science facility. We also installed air conditioning on the second floor of our house elementary school too.
Great. Now we have presentations, recognition.
I'm sorry, before we move on, I have a quick question. I sent an email earlier, didn't get a response. Are we having any kind of update on regionalization and where we are with regionalization as a committee?
Not on the agenda this evening.
Committee has
It's not,
No, of course.
Presentations, recognitions, and awards. We're going to start with recognition of Chloe Gordon, artist, Board of Education, Commission Painting.
So every year, Mrs. Fair selects a student to have their artwork commissioned by the Board of Education. So this year, Ms. Morgan's artwork, does it have a title? Okay, it doesn't have a title. Her artwork, I think we don't know. Her artwork, which is absolutely stunning, absolutely beautiful, was selected to be commissioned. So we are actually buying this piece of art from Chloe, and it will hang with her name on it as a commissioned piece of art in the board office. So it's an excellent recognition every year of our super talented students. I mean, come on, it is absolutely gorgeous, reflective of Highlands. It's absolutely beautiful. We are so excited that you are here with us tonight. Love that photo. Like that. So we get the artwork in here.
She's a professional artist.
I get you are a professional artist. You have your first piece of artwork.
3, 2, 1. All right, one more. 3, 2, 1.
Thank you so much. Beautiful. So we're going to take this from you now, all right? Congratulations. Thank you so much. Congratulations. She's so talented.
Next, Dr. Timothy Tian is going to present the strategic planning presentation.
present here during the whole planning. And so the planning process is done. For every board member, they have the actual packet for the strategic plan, as well as the action plans to go along with it. So we are wrapping it up. We can go to the next one. So for those who don't know what strategic plan it is, an opportunity for the community to come out and be able to provide their insights into where is the district doing really well, where is the district has areas that they could grow in, and then creating that vision for where they would like the district to go. So I use this nice picture of a waterfall to represent what is strategic planning. If you think about a waterfall at the very top is the water, and that is the strategic plan itself. And then all the water that's cascading down the waterfall are all the different goals that go on in the district. So they're all connected to that strategic plan. They're all feeding into it and supporting it. At the very bottom, that pool of water where all the water that comes down the waterfall hits, that's student achievement. Because every single goal, every single plan that the district has in place will ultimately impact student achievement. Next. So this is just a visual of how our planning process worked. It was basically 3 nights that we were here. The first night was the state of the schools, which was presented by the superintendent, where she gave her overview from the perspective of the administration and staff of where are the strengths of the district and where are those challenges that they have been encountering and projected to encounter. Then the participants did a strengths and challenges activity where they were able to do the exact same thing. Some of the stuff was connected to what the superintendent had presented, and some was new. So it was a nice way of getting multiple perspectives on the same topic. Then we went to, you can say I know. Then the second meeting, we went to the vision and initiatives and goal areas, where that's where they envisioned where they would like the district to go in the next 5 years. And as part of that, they created 5 goal areas in this case, where they felt it was the overarching goal area that all the things that they would like to happen would fall underneath it. Our third night was where they worked on the goal statements. So each goal area that they had created a goal statement that was overarching, and then they listed a bunch of objectives that they felt if those were achieved, then that would help that goal to be achieved in the end. And then it got turned over to the superintendent and her team, where they created the action plans, which are looking at all of that information and pulling it all together, and then doing the how are we going to get there. So the day-to-day, how are we going to do it, along with timelines and all of that, who's going to be involved in it, all of that is part of the action plans. Next one. So this is the process, and now we're at halfway down where it says action plans developed by the superintendent and team. The strategic plan is now been delivered to the board then. They will vote to approve it at whatever point, whether it's today or another night. And then once that's approved, then the superintendent and her team will start to implement the strategic plan. And then they will hopefully give some nice updates, at least annually, to you as a community about the progress toward it. I've also sent a PDF of everything that the board has, where the superintendent can post that on the website if she so chooses, which she's not in yet, so I'm going to say she is. So you as a community member can actually be watching that and seeing the progress that goes along. And if you think about all the work that goes on during board meetings, you'll actually hear different things that are being approved, or the actions that they're doing, or things that they're discussing that are going to be directly connected to that strategic plan. Next one. So these were our planning meetings. This is the number of participants and when they happen. And one of the nice things that your district has, which we don't get everywhere, but it's best when you do get it, is student participants. And I always say they're the best voices, and no offense to all the adults that came, but the students are the best to give you the very brutally honest insight into what's working, what's not working, what they would like to see within the district. So getting that student voice, which are the consumers of everything we're creating here in the school district, is so important. And they did not hold back. Let's put it that way. They were very honest. Next one. So this is just tradition statement in case you forget why you're here. This is why you're here. This is what we believe in. Next. And these were the 5 goal areas that were identified, which was communication marketing, academics, student learning and achievement, community involvement, and then arts, athletics, facilities, and technology. And then we're going to break down those 5 different areas, and I'm going to talk about 2 of them in particular. Next. So the first goal area was communication and marketing, and this was a large discussion that occurred throughout the whole time that we were getting together about communication and the importance of it. And their goal statement was to create a marketing plan to effectively communicate to 80% of the town's population. And underneath that, the objectives were to create a central committee or position to manage communications, develop strategic marketing plan utilizing multiple platforms, market or showcase student achievement to attract and maintain student retention, advertise school happenings, current events, plays, sports, concerts, etc., and develop platforms for student advocacy and voice, and outreach to local railroads. And once again, the action plan is then to take that and they would start to list different activities that they are planning on undertaking to address each one of those objectives that are listed there. Next one. And you see that this one says combined, and the reason for that is because even though there's 5 goal areas, the 2 goal areas, goal area 2 and 3, when the superintendent was looking at all the information, she really felt that those 2 had a lot of overlap, and so she actually combined those 2, so nothing was left off, it was just combined into 1 goal area, and it was all encompassing. And you can add to that if I missed anything on it, I believe that was accurate. So I'm not going to read these 2, but it does give you an idea that these 2 are together. The goal statement for this was to increase access to opportunity to a more diverse course offering. And once again, you're going to hear that same thing. And one of the examples is increase opportunities for world language courses. You're going to see on the next slide, you get the next one, where this was student learning and achievement. If you go down to the second bullet, increased language offerings. So right there is a perfect example of how the 2 were overlapping. So it just really sends a powerful message to the superintendent team that obviously that's something that's very high on the priority list. And if I recall correctly, the principal was told that that was so this was basically to further develop a supportive, engaging, and accepting learning environment so students can achieve and excel. And then our 4th goal area was community involvement. So you had communication and you had community involvement, which is getting people to not only understand what's going on in the district, but to actually be involved in some way, shape, or form. And so they wanted to increase community exposure and involvement for students of all ages to strengthen the need of vibrant community tapestry. And the objectives here were to communicate with community members who do not currently have children in the schools. And I can tell you that's an area that districts across the state struggle with, is getting information out to those people that don't have kids here. It's easy to get the ones that are here, not so easy to get the ones that are not. They have some creative ideas. To make connections between local businesses and student learning, and to increase relationships between the 2 towns and surrounding areas. And our 5th goal area were arts, athletics, facilities, and technology. And this is only a personal thing, and it actually highlights that I increased your hat part here, but they actually listed art as the first one on the list. And most districts will see athletics being number 1, so this was a nice change that I saw, and you guys actually highlighted it today. So in this one, the goal statement was to integrate updated high school programs into elementary schools to foster long-lasting connections from preschool to grade 12. And the objectives were to expand the academies, which is like grow, STEM, and separate visual arts academy, which was a big discussion, and then increase interaction of elementary students with Hudson athletics, and complete outdoor garden area at Hudson, potential for growth. And then go to the next one. This is what an action plan would look like, and understand that it is a working document, so when you see it, understand that there's going to be certain items within this action plan that your superintendent team may be able to finish earlier. Some things may take a little longer. They may do some research on it and find out it can be done, but it can't be done in the time frame that they want, so they may have to move it. And then other things you might investigate, you might find out, let's say, for example, an architect looks at it and they say, yeah, you can do it, however, it's going to cost you $55 million, and you're going to say, no, we're not going to do that. With that, though, the superintendent team, they look at that and say, even though we can't do that, maybe we can do this, which might support the same purpose of the initiative. So understand that it is a working document, and any changes that happen within it, when the superintendent does the annual update, she'll update you on if there's any changes or anything to move the right. So the board will review and adopt the strategic plan, and the administration will implement the plan, and then you will get updates, progress toward completion. Like I said, it will be a formal one probably, but you should also be watching the website and following along yourselves listen to the board meetings, see what's going on in the schools, and see the connections and how the progress is being made. And these are your students, and we thank everyone for showing up. I mean, it was 3 full nights, 2 hours. I think we went over an hour and a half, we went over an hour and a half. I think the third one we were pretty good at sitting the hour and a half. But it was a lot of time that they donated of their time to come here to give that input, and it was greatly appreciated. Any questions?
Any questions from the board, Dr. Tian? Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
The next part of this part of the agenda is from Mr. Janice in reference to the mandated spring 2025 WIA access score presentation.
Yeah, so in your board packets, it doesn't have to do it on this page, we just have to present it to the board. So in your board packets, we have to share out within, so this, the timing of, usually we share out our WIA access scores with all of the other scores, but because of the timing of the release, you have 60 days, so we couldn't wait until October when we share everything else out. So we need to share this out. So in your board packets, I placed a memo, and I'll just read it aloud, related to our NJ Access WIA scores. So our access scores are the students that multi-language learners take for us to understand their proficiency in where they are with their native language. So these are our ESL students. So last year, in 2024, we had 42 students that sat for the access test. The average overall proficiency level in 2024 was a 2.9 with an average scale score of 309. In 2025, we had 38 students sit for the WIA access test. Our average overall proficiency level was a 3.3, so we had some growth there with our average scale score of 322. So this does not assess like their proficiency in mathematics or ELA. It assesses 4 different domains: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. So their ability to listen to the English language, speak the English language, read the English language, and write the English language. This is also not like tested grade levels. So some kids that take this are just new to the country. They have no English at all. So we have everything from kids that have been in the country, like just in ESL for a year, like kindergartners take this, or little babies, all the way up to 11th graders, some of which have only been in the country for a short period of time. So it really assesses their grasp of the English language and how they're able to access that, not their proficiency in ELA and math. Those students sit for our regular assessments. This is just where we test within their grasp of the English language. So some of the students have instructions, not have instructions. Not that way. Thank you, Mr. Jennings, for preparing.
Thank you.
Public comment on agenda items. Anyone in the public have a comment on an agenda item? Seeing none. Approval of the minutes. Motion to approve the minutes will be needed for the 7/16 regular meeting and 7/16 executive session meeting. May I have a motion? And a second? Roll call, Mr. Sherwood, please.
Ms. Burrell?
Yes.
Ms. Knox?
Yes.
Ms. Kosler?
Yes.
Ms. Melnick?
Yes.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Mr. Wingberger? Mr. Glenn?
Yes. Next item on the agenda is correspondence. Mr. Sherwood, would you mind telling me correspondence? We received a correspondence on July 17th, 2025. Facility use requests in buildings and grounds. The Highland Business Partnership would like to use the Highland Elementary School. Twin Lakes Historical is using a museum event for Henry Hudson. Highlands Elementary PTO is having an ice cream social meet and greet. Atlantic Highlands PTO is having a book fair. And the Atlantic Highlands Elementary PTO is setting the meeting dates for the year through May. I need a motion to approve those facility use requests, please. Burrell
the second, and the order on the first, please. Roll call, Mrs. Sherlock, please.
Ms. Burrell?
Yes.
Ms. Knox?
Yes.
Ms. Koser?
Yes.
Ms. Melnick?
Yes.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Mr. Wingert?
Yes.
Mr. Colangelo?
Yes. Consent agenda. May I have a motion on the consent agenda, please?
Knox.
Second, please.
Koser.
Any discussion on the consent agenda, please?
There is an amendment.
To approve, as Dr. Deanne stated, for 2025, 2030, strategic plan. And then we get the business administrator, we'll go with that one, business administrator. To approve the agreement with Paris Education Solutions in real time to provide use case management training for the HHRSD real-time student data system on 9/3/25, cost of $800.
Mr. Colangelo?
Yes, Ms. Miller?
I think this is the quickest one. I'd like to make a motion to table addendum item 13O just until the next meeting. This was a very informative presentation, but the board hasn't received the actual document, which is quite lengthy yesterday. And so I'd just like to table approving the strategic plan until the next meeting.
I can't second it, but I would, that's it. So I will read through the patents.
And we got yesterday.
Question, is there any sort of timeline that has to be done to the closure?
I'm going to do this locally. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Okay, thank you. I also just had a question on item 13G and 16E.
You have a question?
I do, should I ask them now?
Please.
Great. Item 13G, to approve the superintendent's recommendation to approve the school security plan. Have we received the school security?
You can't get, we're not allowed to release them. We just have to approve that we have them. We can't release them to you because you're members of the public and that's a security.
Thank you. And item 16E, that asks to approve for the appointment of a substitute principal. Have we done that in the past?
Yes, we had a substitute administrator last year when Mrs. Rexer was out. And we've had Mr. Teeple approved for the whole last school year as a substitute administrator.
But this is on an as-needed basis.
Yeah, we used him last year as well.
So there comes a time when the school is in need of a principal for a per diem sub.
There could be, if we have an event where principals are going and we need someone in the building, or in this case, when we have a leave of absence.
Thank you. That's all.
Thank you. I would need, I'm going to read the motion, so I would need a motion and a second for this agenda. Excluding, excuse me, Mrs. Knox, excluding item 14, 13, not for motion, have a second, please. Second, roll call, Mr. Sherlock, please.
Ms. Burrell?
Yes.
Ms. Knox?
Yes.
Ms. Koser?
Yes.
Ms. Melnick?
Yes.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Mr. Wingert?
Yes.
Mr. Colangelo?
Yes. Next item on the agenda is public comment. Anyone from the public have any comments this evening? Seeing none. Board of Education comments. Does anyone from the board have any comments this evening?
I have a comment.
Ms. Melvin?
I just wanted to comment that I see that we've added correspondence that was dated July 17th, but I'm pretty sure that since January, we've received other correspondence from members of the public, and I think it's important for us to keep an accurate record of that. Thank you.
No problem, Ms. Melvin. And that additional correspondence with BCC, so that is my mistake for not knowing that Ms. Sherlock is not on that.
Any other board members have any other comments? Okay, moving on. We need a motion to go into executive session. Whereas pursuant to NJSA 10:4-12B, the Board of Education may exclude the public from wording, but from a portion of the public meeting at which the board discusses any matters described under said NJSA 10:4-12B. We will be discussing litigation and unwarranted invasions of individual rights. May I have a motion to go into executive session, please? From here.
Second, Bozak.
I'm sorry about that. Roll call, please. Mrs. Sherlock.
Ms. Burrow?
Yes.
Ms. Knox?
Yes.
Ms. Joseph? Yes. Ms. Melnick?
Yes.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Mr. Winger?
Yes.
Mr. Colangelo?
Yes.
Action will not be taken after executive session, so we will adjourn from after executive session. So there's no other items for after executive session.
Everyone stay safe in the weather and stay out of the water.
Stay out of the water.